Good morning. Jonah is in the belly of the fish. We pick up in Jonah 2. Then Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of the fish, saying. Now we're about to read, I'm not going to read all of it this morning, but a portion of it. Obviously Jonah didn't write lyrical poetry in the belly of the fish. This is a literary representation of his cry out, possibly written in reflection upon it. But it gives the thrust and the heart of his prayer, what he cried out to God. And it says, I called out to the Lord out of my distress, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol. Sheol is an Old Testament term for the grave, the place of death. I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the floods surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. I want to stop there because I want you to see what Jonah's prayer does not do. This is really important. Notice verse 3. For you cast me into the deep, Jonah says, into the heart of the sea, and the floods surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. Jonah properly blames God for him being cast into the deep. He properly blames God for the fish. See, in 1:17 it says God provided, and I mentioned that to you before. This is God's doing. God is the one taking him into the deep. God is the one taking him into the back of the cave. God is the one bringing the negative circumstance into his life. One of the things the Bible does not do is try to get God off the hook. It keeps God on the hook because this is what makes difficulty meaningful. This is what makes tumult worth it. This is what makes tribulation and trial redemptive. God is at work. See, let me just share another section of Scripture with you. There's a quoting of Proverbs 3, 11 and 12 in Hebrews 12, where Hebrews 12 talks to us about the disciplining hand of God. And the author of Hebrews says the following, and have you forgotten the exhortation that addresses you as sons? This is Hebrews 12:5 and verse 6. My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor be weary when reproved by him. For the Lord disciplines the one he loves and chastises every son whom he receives. If you're going through stuff, it is for God chiseling, making, crafting, discipline. You say, well, haven't you shared something similar in previous thoughts for the day? Yeah, but you got to hear it again. You can't hear enough that God's at work in difficulty. You can't hear enough that the chisel hits and hurts. You can't hear enough that the hammer strikes you on the anvil and your job is to stay on the anvil. I just want you to see that it is God who disciplines the one he loves. So as Jonah pines away in the belly of the fish, he recognizes in his prayer to God that God is the one who casts him into the deep. God is the one who causes the waves and the billows to pass over him. And this is why it's meaningful. This is why he calls out to God, not as an interventionalist, but as one who has mapped out his days. And as Jonah has tried to run in rebellion, the God who loves him enough to rescue him through difficulty. And so Jonah can pray to that God. That's why you can call out to God today. You can call out to God today because whatever you're in is something that is not surprising God, and is something that God is utilizing for meaning in your life, chiseling away at you, wind carving stone, seeking to shape you. Yet another reminder that the God who loves you is always out to reform your character and mind for his glory. Have a good day.